Yo guys, I've got a spark which I'm going to use to ignite the fire for another Skylanders Vlogging episode here on the channel. We're kicking things off with some Winterfest Lobstar gameplay because this has unexpectedly become both the Boxing Day special as well as the second day of Skylands. Therefore, I think it's only appropriate to have some sort of Christmas imagery for this particular episode, and let me know in the comments what gets you most excited about Christmas. For me, it's the decorations because my house goes crazy at this time of year. I'm going to show you a couple photos now of just how mad we go with Christmas lights. We light up our entire street, and it gives me such pride to see our passion for lighting up for Christmas night skies, and so naturally having just this sheer bombardment of light makes our house look spectacular this time of year, and like I said earlier, I couldn't be prouder of it. But as for the rest of this episode, it was shot back in early November when me and Luke visited York with the University of Lincoln as part of the annual Aesthetica Film Festival. I made a vlogging video last year about the exact same film festival, and now it's 1 year later, but I was with other students for the first time and I didn't prioritise filming. With it being just me and Luke this year, we're both going to be focused more on filming some new footage whilst we're there, so you can expect a much more thorough look into York. The only problem with this trip is for length. I have to be waking up at 6 AM and I won't be getting back home until midnight, so I'm going to roll that intro, then me and Luke are going to waste no time and get straight into the vlog. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, it is very dark and practically abandoned. That's what happens when you travel at 6 AM, isn't it, Luke?
Yes.
Yeah, a pump for today now.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
York is a beautiful place. We're looking forward to exploring that, obviously, but also we have plenty of student films to look forward to.
Oh, and also, since I want the same workshop as you now, documentaries.
So many birds. Yes, and lots of documentaries too. Birds and documentaries. Those are two things guaranteed for today. Regardless, we've seen the street already, so we'll see you later at York, no doubt.
Hi.
Okay, quickly grabbed a Greg's breakfast right now, bloopers and all. Yeah, Luke's loving it, which is the complete wrong slogan now that I think about it, but we're not here to advertise, except for maybe for massive library back there, which used to be a warehouse.
Yeah.
That's where we're meeting up to take the coach towards York, but unfortunately we are 20 minutes early, so that's why university seems so abandoned right now.
Yeah, at least we can get to the front this time.
I felt as though it was worth showcasing all of this off before we take that trip to York, mind you, so we'll see you there after, obviously, a little montage, I suppose. I'm quite literally on the edge of glory right now because we have one hell of a beautiful scene over here. Just got off the coach, in fact the coach is back there, but there's a cycle track running all the way down. You know, if I brought my bike with me, which unfortunately didn't quite have room on the coach track, if I did, I'd be just going off, winding me hair and all sorts. Obviously the tree's always great, but there's just plenty here to absorb. York is truly beautiful, and when I said that, this here is what I meant. Okay, we've only just started heading up, and already you can tell that we have some cool stuff to observe, like that wacky paint job on the car over there.
Yes.
And Luke wants more, but what's behind Luke is even more impressive. You got massive walls right there from what was or still is a prison, I believe. It has that prison type aesthetic, so I'd be surprised if it was anything less than that.
It's going to be checking you.
No! I've been exposed. But yeah, there's plenty more York to explore, so I cannot wait to get full-fledged with this video. We'll go in a lot more depth than the last time we was here. And look at Luke. I'm taking a video of him taking video. It's geniusness. Filmception! Ah! Yeah, that's definitely an appropriate response.
That was actually terrible.
100%. I hope these leaves don't rise up against us, because the last thing we want is Revenge of the Fallen. Ugh. I might hate that movie, but I'm not disgraced by that pun.
That was awful.
Not on the same level as him, anyway.
That was awful.
The idea is for it to be awful. Anyway, we've got to head under this bridge, because for last time we learnt the hard way even, about how tough it is to cross the road up there. There isn't a crossing until all the way on the other side, so passing under the bridge, it makes our journey a hell of a whole lot easier. Easy to come up with good jokes, apparently, because that I'm incapable of, which is where Revenge of the Fallen came from. Again, still hate the movie, but the action sequences in it are phenomenal. Ooh, the bonding warehouse. Anyway, originally we were going to take this route up towards the city centre, but we're instead taking this route because it seems a lot more scenic, so let's get to it. So we currently have nothing more than a pole which has seen better days, at least for painting the outside has, as it's just kind of crippling away. But as we pull our focus, we have the gorgeous canal running straight through, as well as obviously a side street and what looks like homes and more warehouses for the sake of industry. Man, this place is gorgeous, I cannot emphasise that enough. We have cobblestone and a bar, a very traditional built-up area, it feels like. Oh my god, it's Luke's biggest enemy. Gradients that aren't zero. Luke is geeking out over the massive Tudor building over here. The King's Arms is the name of the pub. It is pretty, just like these cobblestone roads. Again, I love how traditionally built this area is.
Oh, yeah.
York is a city that has stood for thousands upon thousands of years.
I mean, it used to be called Jorvik because it used to be ruled by the Vikings.
There's a fun fact for you. And another fun fact is our next stop, the Shambles, is inspiration for Diagon Alley. And obviously we watched Chamber of Secrets in the last episode, so it's going to be fun to elaborate upon that further.
Let's just say I'm going to take about $1 billion first.
Definitely.
Definitely $1 billion.
That bus is headed off to Leeds, so obviously we're not interested in any of that. But as I pan around, you'll notice that we've got plenty of awesome things to explore. Definitely many different routes to check out. So yeah, we'll go straight for now, but York is just absolutely prestigious, or dare I even say whipped.
Also, I nearly tripped on the curb because it was higher than I expected.
That's rather foolish, but anyway, that whipped ain't got nothing on Torch, because Torch whips a hair back and forth.
So here, back and forth.
Okay, we're continuing straight, as you saw from the previous clip, and so far it's the classic, gorgeous York, but no matter where you go, you're going to find Cafe Nero's. Looks like we have the prestigious honour of continuing on. We're almost there, but we are going to pass a pizza along the way, but that's not going to be no lunch for us. Neither is for Greg's, though it's very tempting, but we had Greg's already, didn't we, Luke?
Yes, we did have Greg's already.
No matter where you go, you're always going to find a Greg's. It's a necessity. Even, you know, for smallest villages in the middle of nowhere are guaranteed to have a Greg's, practically speaking. So, Luke, where did we wind up? For Shambles, he said. He might not have heard that, but the buildings here are older than ones up Steep Hill, but you take away the hill part, and it reminds me of Steep Hill actually, for narrow roads and all that. And plenty of local businesses, no doubt. I mean, this one right here smells gorgeous, and it looks gorgeous too, with all the plant life outside. Luke is just looking up in awe, but this building right here is clearly taking advantage of Harry Potterness behind the Shambles here, because of 9 3/4 and everything, plus the name too, the Potions Cauldron. That is very much on the nose. I feel so British right now, but there is nothing I like more than a nice little pastry shop. You got massive pork pies and mushrooms. Mushrooms are one of the few things that are perfect on this planet, so seeing a mushroom stroganoff, it looks like perfection in all honesty. Man, I'm making myself hungry just by staring at this for too long. So all of this I recognise from last time, meaning that we just barely missed the Shambles back there. And as you can tell, Luke is very content. Those might just be some of the best sausage rolls he's ever had, without question.
Oh.
That is why our mouths are watering so heavy at the last pastry shop you saw. Anyway, that line right there actually turns out it's for a place called the Ghost Merchant, so it's definitely a popular destination, that's for sure. But we're gonna explore this place a little bit more. It's just fun to have checked out the Shambles, which is the inspiration behind Diagon Alley. So whilst they didn't actually physically film the scenes here, they did, in the studio, design the set around this location, so pretty cool knowledge that. And Diagon Alley is of course featured in 3 of the 8 Harry Potter movies, the first 2 and the 6th one. Hopefully I'm correct in having said that. That was a colourful van right there. But that being said, we have found the best drawing planet, so we're going to be checking that out, and we've just came obviously from back here in all of its glory. It would appear as though CEX direct competition for game, well, in the past year, it's closed down, so it's competition no more. Without further ado, we're going to go check it out and see what they got. So here are the Skylanders, just like the CEX backlink, and we have a plethora of life-based starter pack characters, but luckily off to the side we do have some more interesting and rarer picks like Wildfire, Nightlight, and Mystical Tycoon Crow. You very rarely see variants here, so that's quite nice to see out here in the wild, but there is the selection in its entirety, nothing to write home about. I almost missed these items hiding in the corner, however, with Imaginators on Xbox 360 as well as an in-box version of the Skylanders Swap 4 starter pack on Nintendo Wii. What surprises me here is a pretty lackluster Switch section. Luke's been looking through it and there's not really too much that tickles his fancy, and he has a £33 voucher to be spending and everything.
I mean, there's Skyrim, but that's not the Switch.
Yeah, that's a shame, Luke. You're saying about how he didn't find much, but there is Xbox 360 stuff here, plenty of GTA 4 and GTA 5, which I'm surprised even runs on Xbox 360. With that being said, this section isn't all too interesting. I'm just checking it out to keep in theme because we saw Skylanders Imaginators on the Xbox 360 earlier. Did see this on the Xbox 360 shelf as well, which is pretty interesting because this is actually becoming quite a rare game to get physically nowadays, so I'm glad I own it already. Oh, so that van just blocked CEX temporarily, but we're done with that, and it was quite anticlimactic actually when it came to the Skylanders, but Luke picked himself an absolute bargain right here. Horizon Forbidden West, there's definitely no other label, £6.
Yeah, it was definitely £6.
And there's definitely no label I'm covering up.
Exactly.
With that being said, we just switched out the boxes because for one that Luke did originally have was battered, so it was kind enough to let us switch boxes out, and he still got Forbidden West for a relatively decent deal. Those are some nice windows up there, not gonna lie.
Newest game to the collection.
Yes, it's glorious. So this is a very open and noisy area, but as you can tell the sun is up and the weather is actually quite gorgeous on this day, so we're very lucky to have chosen today of all days to head down to York. Not that we had a choice on the day, but
No,
still.
They chose that for us.
Lucky all the same. They even have yet another van in this wide open area, but it's just nice to check all of this out, and it's going to be even nicer yet when we go to Westminster.
Yep.
Let's get to it without further ado.
Yep.
Time for more of the wonderful streets of York, this time with added greenery. Awesome. Wow, that all seems highly decorated for a bank. With that being said, we have yet another beautiful town centre-esque area here with greenery and even a little bit of an archway up the bottom there. Yeah, it's looking glorious. So we're going to continue on to Museum Gardens next rather than for Westminster Abbey, but man, is that good looking, especially the gold and the red. A nice sharp colour contrast is exactly what you need. There's a puddle there, and the first thing Luke proceeded to do was step in it. That was actually a really cool shot, seeing your reflection in there before seeing you. But what we have to look at next is just about the most pink shop I've ever seen in my life, as well as just about the most greenery I've seen in my entire life. But it looks glorious. There's pillars there, and an antique centre. Very interesting. It's some more of a salmon colour, that one, or at least that's how it's showing up on my phone, mind you. Yes, that is exactly what I just said. Congratulations for noticing. So now we're currently up close and personal with the pillars, but we're going to pull our focus to that gloriousness right over there. Next to the antique centre we saw before is just those church grounds, and they look very cool for attention to detail and the embodiments on the front there. It is fantastic, as you can tell thanks to my awesome zooming in skill. There are loads upon loads of nerdy antique stuff around here, which I myself don't find much interest in, let alone paying 75 quid for. But Luke, on the other hand, as we're checking out these cabinets, he has found all of the coins, literally all of them. It's glorious, at least for him it is. Luke was just looking at a brooch, and how old was it?
6,000 years old.
Oh my, and there's even more stuff in here. It's very impressive. I can see how antique collectors would really dig this stuff, but I'm not that crowd, you could say. But there's more coins here, and then we can circle back around to where it is we just came from. You can tell because of the massive grandfather clock up there. Why would I pay £50 for that? I have that piece in Monopoly. We're now done with the antique shop, and this right here is reminding me highly these curved white buildings of the buildings of London. But now we have more gardens we're heading towards, so we'll observe this as we kind of move away from it. A bit similar to the direction in which the bus is travelling. In fact, the exact same direction, because we're heading down this street next. Let's get to it. This trio is just hanging around, but already Luke is being drawn to what is the ruins over there, but there's also a library and archive, which is a venue for the Aesthetica Film Festival. You can tell from the banner already, so that's pretty awesome. There'll be workshops in there later on, so we'll be returning no doubt, but these ruins are magnificent, that goes without saying. Okay, so all of this is pretty cool. Once again, that goes without saying, but trust me when I say you haven't seen nothing yet, because we're going to pan around and you get to observe all of that as part of a castle wall, and it looks magnificent because it is. Holy crap. Ooh, look at what Luke has found and filmed.
It was built before the 1250s, and it was a chapel and one of the first hospitals in the area.
Nice.
So this used to be a hospital and a chapel.
Not really much of a hospital now though, is it?
No.
If I was dying, I wouldn't want to be stuck here. We might be barred off, but you still get to see a glimpse of our next section, so that's going to be awesome to explore, and I'm currently having to deal with the most awkward angle of which to film this. And there's even more on the outskirts back here when it comes to the greenery scene that is, but Luke was just admiring the fact that all of this right here is carved. It's magnificent.
Yeah, all that would have had a statue on it at some point.
Nice. This would have been a tower, which is pretty cool, but now we're up here close and personal with all of this magnificence. You can tell the age of stuff like that because of the moss growing on it, but regardless, there's just so much history here. It's really cool. There's a massive hint in this frame of what's to come, and thanks to the might of my zooming in skills, you can see that far more clearly. There's the top of a minister. We're going to be checking out more of that later, but for now we have more of these castle ruins to explore, as well as those museum gardens. It's going to be a lot of greenery, that's for sure. I mean, there's already greenery here to speak of. Okay, so here we are and heading through this archway. I thought it was more for castle ruins, but instead we just get more of this greenery. It's gonna loop back around to the museum gardens, which is cool, but there is this on the flip side of the wall, so we do at least get this magnificent shot, and the sky is really starting to add to the atmosphere here because we finally have some blue showing through all of the clouds and all that. Oh my lord, we have a squirrel visitor for this vlogging episode today. Man, that thing is so cute right now. I love their movement. They are quick, they are agile creatures, them squirrels. They also have a pigeon accompanying them, which is pretty cool. But say there's more greenery as well as the outskirts of the castle wall back here, so that arch looks magnificent from this angle, that's for sure. When it comes to beauty, this is the city that just keeps giving because man, this is awesome. Behind Luke is the Yorkshire Museum sign. That is beauty in of itself, but that's nothing compared to everything else we have in this shot before us. Amazing. This is some of the utmost glorious of greenery I've ever seen. That sentence made very little grammatical sense. We're just going to move on because there is beauty to be seen in the visuals. You don't need beauty in the commentary also. But as we slowly pan ourselves here, we have the ruins. It's incredible, to say the least. And here we have yet another wonderful wide shot. We finally approached this up close and personal, and you can tell from that scaling right there just how big the walls are by comparison to Luke. But there's more of the ruins over here. They're looking a little bit ruined, so I suppose that the ruins being ruined is why they're called ruins in the first place. So this building on our right is yet another one of the venues for the Aesthetica Film Festival, but I just wanted to give you these ruins up close and personal. There's just plenty that you can explore around here at York. It's not short on visual treats, shall we say, though it is short on climbing stuff, because this wall is one that is not advisable to climb, shall we say. I'm really feeling the undead theme of this area over here.
Watch out, trap traps in there.
You could even say that Skylanders of the undead element are stronger in this zone. Well, you know how much I love my floor patterns, and this has taken glorious floor patterns to a whole new level. Luke's just saying that so far the trip's been worth it, and what I get out of this is this magnificent ruins from yet another new angle. It's always nice looking at things from a new angle, isn't it, Luke? Yes. With that being said, we're going to continue in this general direction now and see what we find, because that's the joy of exploring for you. And there's another squirrel. Can't seem to ever get enough of the squirrels, so that one's a bit more camouflage with leaves, it seems. He's more camera shy. Luke's been talking too much about pies. I'm going to be starting mouthwashing any moment now.
We could go back to that pie shop.
We will later for sure, because those pies looked magnificent.
I do need to do some B-roll around there actually. I forgot to do it, so...
Yeah, we'll go back and we'll make sure we do all of that. Yeah, baby! All of this right here would be why they call it the museum gardens, because this very much is what a magnificent garden would look like. You look up a dictionary definition of glorious garden, Luke. This right here is the image you see to go alongside it, because everyone knows that dictionary definitions include images. That's how the dictionary works. Hold up a sec there, Luke. This is a problem. You got to engage panic mode. We're locked in here forever and ever. Oh no!
What are you doing? Why did you take us in this way?
We have even more parts of the wall right here. Lucas just saying how he could easily live here. There was a crow that you might have seen on film for a few seconds there, but even more impressively yet, besides all of the rest of the wall and ruins, are these hedge sculptures, which we're going to check out from a front perspective next. So I'll see you over there where that guy's taking a photo. Clearly he has the same idea of me as getting these captured on film somehow. We start with the back of a tiger's ear, and then we move our focus toward the Westminster back there. Man, does that look magnificent, as does the rest of this greenery from these benches before us. This slug could be mistaken for a turtle. I wish it was a turtle, because I like turtles. So we have ourselves a grass animal sanctuary that we're finally going to see from the front on in all of its glory. Man, does that look cool. I mean, the corner of Luke's chin for a moment there didn't look as cool, but for grass animals on the other hand, yeah, they look great. After all that, it turns out we've circled back around, so it's time to head back to the way from which we came. As you can tell from Luke, we've now removed ourselves from the grass animal sanctuary as much as we wanted to live there forever and ever as grass animals ourselves. That wasn't quite a possibility now, was it, Luke? Instead, Luke is pointing at the Westminster, but what I'm observing right now is the beauty of these water fountains back here, and of course the statue that resides over it. Very cool indeed. Lucas offered me a dip, but I'd rather not have that. Instead, I'd rather just observe this water up close and personal. Yeah, let's not go there, Luke. Especially for pun part. I'd rather take a dip over this than to that pun all over again. Wow, this bench is very colourful, as are the rest of the benches, but none of them compare to the might and the glory of that bench from Long Eaton. That is still the most grandest bench of them all. I love that bench. I also love everything else we get from this angle. We get the statue up close and personal, and it's all just magnificent to say the absolute minimal. Just like that, it's time for us to be heading up towards the Westminster. We are very much looking forward to the visual treat we're about to endure.
Oh, yeah. Imagine that, like horses would have been trotting down here.
Yeah, those would have been the olden days with horses. Now we have these vehicular units, which are boxes with wheels, metal boxes at that. Big difference, my friend.
Horses with wheels.
Well, horses did, you know, carry wheels, not carry them, pull them even. Yeah. I don't know, grammar is hard. All I know is that by the time we're done with this street, that Westminster will no longer be alluded to or hinted at. We're going to see it in full. Out of pure excitement, Luke over there, he's just kind of wandered off, but say from back here we can't even get the entirety of Westminster in a single shot because, as you can tell, it is huge. Not quite the same heights as Lincoln Cathedral, mind you, because that building shattered records in of itself, but that's not to take away from the impressiveness of this here building. My oh my, I only wish that the tree wasn't in the way blocking it, but we still get all of this glory from this view. Okay, so time for a bit of an update. That is not for Westminster, but for Westminster, which is this on the other hand, that is 1400 years of glory right there. That's right, it was built 1,400 years ago, because that's what 1,400 years of glory means. To the right of the Minster, we have the tree that's been blocking it in for previous shots, but we also have the side streets, as well as that magnificent sculpture in the middle there. We'll zoom in to check that out in all of its glory. This is pretty awesome, not gonna lie. Because of my new phone, I'm able to focus in on all sorts of small little details, which is great, because we deserve to see the world from a magnificent lens such as this. That detail is outstanding, and I really love my new camera's quality. I always love these replicas, and I've actually found from which direction we came, because obviously the grass animal sanctuary would be all the way down here, and we just came straight up to find ourselves
so here we have
Westminster right there.
Of York. So as you can see, there's a lot of miniature buildings and the cathedral at the back. Oh, that counts so good. Oh my god.
Yeah, pretty much what he said, but on the side here we even have the Braille, which is pretty cool. And there we have the Dean Court Hotel, as well as a guitarist playing behind us. He's pretty good actually. Okay, we are yet to have seen for Westminster from this angle, so this is great to see at long last. As always, the size and scope of this thing is massive. But all that having been said and done, our next port of call is to head down the street here and see what, you know, lies in wait for us. We only really got brief glimpses of this street last time we was here, so now we get to check it out in full. We even have the greenery all the way at the end of the street there, so that's, as always, quite glorious indeed. And there's even a Christmas hat store over here. This is quaint and, well, cute, which is exactly what quaint means, but my mum would be eating this up right now. It's adorable, especially for little fuzzly pops on top. Huzzah! All this greenery. We've approached the building at long last. I'm loving it. Well, they've certainly got themselves all decked out, haven't they? For orange, for purple and green contrast here, looks magnificent. We're going around in circles all over again. There's a Poundland there for Luke to take a stop and a rest and a drink from in a bit, but for now what I'm going to point out is the fact that we continue straight on and we'll be back at the shambles all over again. So I've backed up against this corner so Luke can finally get his well-earned rest. He seems to be enjoying his own brew right now, but say, this is the centre and we're going to be heading up. Our next stop is going to be the Shambles once again. Fantastic. Harry Potter store on the edge of the Shambles, how very appropriate, but you can tell we're back at the Shambles thanks to that very convenient street sign over there. So I'm personally not going to film down there, but Luke is getting his gimbal ready for that B-roll. Luke is just going to finish up his B-roll from down here, so now that we're done with the Shambles, we're going to head to Little Shambles. That's cute, you know, little and all that, but we've got plenty to look forward to down there. Okay, so we're right here in what feels like Market Central, eh, Luke?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got plenty of hats and gloves and stuff over there, but obviously all the different stores of different things like handbags and clothing. It's just always nice, and it gives me a sense of home seeing markets like this, as they're at Loughborough all the time.
I mean, markets are a very European thing, so...
And once again, we have a nice Tudor building, I believe that is.
That is, yes.
Yes, I got something right, let's go. Oh, and the fruit and vegetable stores. I always love the fruit veg they provide and stuff like that. Plus they look colourful, which is always a win. Found a quaint little pub tucked away over here. There's historic York, which really caught my eye. I do apologise for the gleam, but apart from that, it's just nicely decorated with a old Keystone projector and a telephone, so it's very nice indeed. And you can tell just the narrowness of the alleyway below us. Very cool indeed. But our next shots, we're going to be looking towards actually seeing films, because this is what we came here for in the first place. We might as well take advantage of such things and check out the aesthetica in and of itself. Looks like this area down here is a bit of a snicket. So we've now left the pub, and what we found instead is a massive Jaws head, as well as 2 for 12 pina coladas, but that's beyond us. We have no need for cocktails because Luke, as you can tell, is currently enjoying a bacon cob instead. Well, coughing up a bacon cob, that is. But yeah, we're going to head down this street because we're anticipating our first batch of films, so we'll see you at the venue. So Luke, how would you say the day's been going thus far?
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly, but we, before we get to the venue here, we have this nice little area. There's a little court area with plenty of restaurants and bars. More importantly, yeah, you have the cheesemakers. So we're waiting 10 minutes for the cheesemakers to return, and afterwards we'll see you at the venue.
Yes, we will.
The moment we stepped foot into the cheesemakers, we were blessed with this glorious sight of all that cheese. Courtesy of the cheese shop, this is going to be absolutely smacking. I can't believe I just said smacking.
Oh.
So our first venue of the day is back here for museum. We just came out from producing documentaries. It was basically like a glorified TED talk, and it was very interesting actually.
The last one, well, one of the first ones caught me at first because of the visual style, but Spectre seemed quite interesting as well, because it's about somebody who I've not heard of. So
yeah, definitely. He was what was it? Music producer who got caught up in a court case about alleged murder and all that. It's a series that's going to cover the whole thing, obviously, called Spectre, which just reminds me of the Netflix series Suits, to be perfectly honest, one that I've been binging recently. Yeah. But still, though, it's nice to have drawn them a full circle and have came back to the museum for our first venue tonight, and we're going to be continuing on watching these films. As you can tell, it's gone a little darker because that's kind of what happens when time passes. And how was that stretch for you?
Needed.
On a beautiful night such as this, we figured it would be great if we just chilled out by the benches for half an hour or so. We have drinks and snacks to boot, so might as well, rather than going out overspending on money, just enjoy what we have. Also, that's a monkey tree, which is not nearly half as big as my one back home. But those seeds on there, the big, brown balls, if you can see them, they're fuzzy, but they have hundreds of seeds inside for fellow monkey trees, but it's not as though they're easy to grow here in the UK. In fact, the trees are actually on the verge of extinction because they're so damn hard to grow, which is why it's a miracle that our one has grown as tall as it has. It really tended to the soil unlike any monkey trees usually do, so we literally have a miracle spawn in our garden. It's brilliant. Looks like we're back here again, but this time we're going to be taking this route, so it's time for some new exploration because we have an hour before we need to reach our next venue. So literally all what's left to do is dot around and see what we can find. Got nothing better to do after all, even though it is starting to get a little dark, and that light has seen better days. Yorkshire seems to have some sort of obsession with ghosts. This thing to the right isn't like any regular old ambulance I've usually seen, but we also have plants as well as obviously things being advertised such as Yorkshire's Jurassic World apparently. And one thing that is now abundantly clear is that this is what the entrance of the park looks like from the front as well as Luke from the front. That's clearly one thing, that being this, which is more glorious than the other. For our next stop we're going to be heading over the bridge, so let's get to it. And now here we are crossing the bridge. Well, duh, you can probably tell it already, and yet here I am telling you that explicitly anyway. Cool, behind me, you can get some great wide shots from atop this bridge up here. Not gonna lie, I'm impressed as always. That's one hell of a pointy building, but all things being said and done, it looks like our next route is going to be up there along the walls, and we're going to get some nice high shots from up there, so hopefully we'll have more beauty to absorb in due time. There's even an arch down there as well, so it just goes to prove how beautiful York can truly be. Oh god damn it, it seems as though my camera's really bad at keeping focus. I'm not going to apologise for that pun right there, not in the slightest. Okay, we seem to have a tiny hole alert, so obviously as per normal I'm going to observe what is through the other side of the hole, and it seems as though once my camera wants to focus there's some canoes down there, but really that's about it. Okay, we're going to take a detour from our original intended route. We're going to head down here and along the river side instead, because that way we're actually going to make it to the venue on time rather than taking our way around the entirety of the castle walls, because that was way too far for this guy to manage for. Look at him, he can barely manage the stairs alone, let alone the castle wall. Okay, so there's the bridge we travelled over and the arch which we saw before. Yeah, that bright splodge there in the sky, that's what we call a moon. The Earth only has one of them, as well as this street right here. Though the streets and the moon don't really have anything in common with the fact that there are multiple streets, unlike the fact that there aren't multiple moons. That was literally what I opened with in this clip. So there you go, the street, and better yet, the moon up in the sky. Such glory. And for those of you who are wondering what was over the wall, it is that. Okay, so we've now approached a more scenic part of the route, and before I flip around my camera to show you exactly what it is I'm talking about, I've decided to show you that I've put on my magical headlamp, and the fact I can switch on the light, as easy as that. It's blinding in self mode, which is why we're going to flip the camera around right now, but it's just very useful for lighting up things that you wouldn't otherwise see in this lack of sunlight you obviously see above me. And then there's also Luke. Say hi, Luke.
Hi, Luke.
So normally my headlight is bright in this, some idiot forgot to charge it, but at least now you can see that this scenery is a lot more light thanks to the might of my very useful tool. You can see the river and everything else, as well as what looks like a very fancy restaurant or whatever it's known as for Picture and Piano, thanks to the signs that make that abundantly clear. Couldn't have been able to tell otherwise, that's what signs are for in the first place. Obviously, for the very start of this York section we were on the other side of the river. You can actually see where we were underneath that bridge all the way over there in the far distance. But with the bridge in mind, that's what we're going to be crossing over next, and then we're pretty much at our venue, so we will see you there. So York is clearly just one of those places that they have so much dotted around it is unreal. First of all, you've got Yates over there, which is no doubt just another bar, but you've also got another street full of shops and everything over there, and then we literally circle our way back around to the river. Again, that was where we started this York section at, on the other side of the river, mind you, for the left hand side based on the frame you currently see. So we do have lights hanging up there, which as you can tell they aren't currently on, despite it being dark out. They would have made a nice contrast with the dark sky, but oh well. In our haste to film everything else, we kind of forgot about one of the main streets running through Lincoln, which is one that we've got to follow to continue on to our venue now. It is whipped all over again, which means we've came to a very familiar sight, but obviously the last time we was here, it was light, so obviously you can see now a comparison between this place in the night and in the day. It's a very stark contrast indeed. But we're going to continue down this zebra crossing and be safe along the way, most obviously. And our venue is right down this totally not shady alleyway whatsoever. Just got to find the correct building down there, head on inside and watch some more films, and after that we'll probably see you on the coach trip before we head back to Lincoln. So here it is, a little further down the alleyway than we were expecting, across another street actually, but it's abundantly clear to me now where exactly the Friar Gate venue was. I mean, there's the aesthetica banner of course, as well as the whole Friar Gate lettering. That's very difficult to miss. So let's get to it. We're watching some animated films that I'm very excited about. So now done with the animated films in there, chose a nice light spot for it, but we're actually going to be back here in half an hour's time, so we're just kind of going to stick around in the great outdoors, have some fresh air. That is not freaky at all, definitely not distracting either. As you can tell, he's knackered. But yeah, that's pretty much why we've decided to stick here and watch some drama films at the same venue. But because we're sticking here and we're not really going around anywhere, what we'll do is we'll see you in 2 hours' time once they're done, as we have to make our way back to the alley from which we came and head right, and that's when we'll be going back to the coach, back towards the coach. So we'll see you in 2 hours' time for all that, and hopefully by then he'll be fixed. We'll have to wait and see.
2 hours later.
That is artsy and quite beautiful, and once we have the light in which to really do this justice. Behind those trees right there are once again the walls that we saw at the very beginning of the video, but that is for York Castle rather than any sort of prison that I was talking about earlier, so that was incorrect on my behalf. But we do also have a town hall-esque building over there, which is lit up in a nice yellow tint, looking glorious as always. And now, and just like that, this here main road leads us back to the car park on which the coach can be found. Along the way, we found this pub and we decided to relax before the half an hour that the coach shall leave. So I've got myself a pick-me-up, and this pint of Coke is really going to lift my spirits for the 2-hour coach ride to come. After that quick pit stop at the pub right there, we finally made it back to the coach, so let's hop on that. And it's a miracle at the moment my phone still has enough battery to get us back and film some clips also at Lincoln, mind you. But as you can tell, it did indeed get incredibly much darker. But the greenery still looks magnificent, to say the least. Which is definitely a phrase I've coined a lot this episode. So we've now made it back at Lincoln. As you can tell, it's very late, but it's not even midnight yet, so we've not even crossed into the next day. Nice. That is anticipation for fish and chips right there, because yes, fish and chips don't close until well after midnight, which it isn't yet. To no one's surprise, when it's pretty much midnight, these places get barren. It feels almost like a ghost town, but the traffic there was no exception, shall we say. And now we get to head over this bridge with all of the locks on it. I always find this interesting, and it's actually, I was about to say, for once it's well lit. It's obviously always well lit thanks to the might of that light up there. So yes, you get to see all the locks on the bridge. It's kind of bizarre, but it's a nice concept, really. Next port of call is to take a quick shortcut through here. Lucas sounded knackered because we've walked a lot today. He actually has the exact numbers and everything.
10.5.
10.5 miles. So it's a casual first day for me, but for Luke, that's an awful lot.
Yeah, 10.5 miles.
Yeah, we've even got even more lights up here, which unfortunately aren't quite having been lit just yet, as you can tell from the lack of light coming from them, mind you. As you can tell, in the past year, this central area has been renovated upon. You've got colourful benches and all sorts, but it's just a nice little picnic area, places for families to gather and kids to kind of run rampant, I suppose. And the Sports Direct is closed. Surprising, isn't it?
Very surprising.
Almost midnight on the Thursday evening, let me not remind you, but it's not going to be Thursday evening for much longer.
No, it's Friday.
Yeah, Friday soon enough. Not gonna lie, the Ritz is gorgeous, all lit up like that, all the blue and red neon signage. They spent ages renovating it too, and it definitely paid off.
Oh yeah. Probably just put a documentary and go sleep.
Yeah, that's Luke's plan, pop on a documentary and go sleep, with a massive package, by the way, because as you can tell from us being back on Main Street, it's time for us to get some food to take back with us. I got a delicious Mexican burger, which is a burger with jalapenos on top, and everyone knows that jalapenos make things instantly better.
Yeah.
He's starved. And where did we get these from is a question. We got them from Pizza Planet back up there because the fish and chips let us down. They closed already.
I could go there tomorrow.
But since we were waiting on these, it is now officially past the midnight marker, so happy Friday, everyone. Yeah, Friday indeed, at least as of recording this video it is. Oh dear, this poor guy has seen better days, but all of that being said and done, Luke, as you can tell, is rushing on home, so I'm going to catch him up in a minute. But speaking of home, that's where we'll see you next, so let's get to it without further ado. Just like that, as you can see, I am back at my University of Lincoln accommodation, my Lego tall neck in the background and everything. And we had a hell of a blast at the York Aesthetica today. Again, I'm just as tired as I was when I woke up this morning because this is 14 hours later, but there was some amazing films along the way there. So much so, in fact, I'm even stuttering for dramatic effect. But regardless, we have had very little Skylanders in this Skylanders Vlogging episode. So to make up for that, we're going to end off the episode with a quick little trip down to the CEX, local to Lincoln, mind you. So let's get to that Skylander section from the CEX, mind you, and hope that we can find something good in the final Skylanders hunting portion of this here episode. Let's get to it. So here we are at the Lincoln CEX. We're going to finish off this episode with some Skylanders hunting, where we can immediately see the T-Rex army alongside the multiple Golden Queens, and now they even have multiple Crash Bandicoots as well. But compared to the last time we was here, this collection is far more, well, superior to say the absolute least. We have another T-Rex to the left, but there's also Night Shift, Smolder Dash, and a Spry and Bop hiding right behind for Mario Amiibos right there. So it's needless to say that the T-Rex is accompanied by plenty of other fantastic figurines. There are more starter pack characters. You had for Cinder, in fact there's 2 of her, there's Snapshot as well. The Tough Luck is definitely a more rarefied and something very much welcome. There's a Mega Ram Spyro, a Series 2 Stump Smash as we loop back around here. And let's not forget the Series 1 Slambound. Once again, you don't see very many Spyro's Adventure characters loose in these here CX selections. They tend to get rid of them quite quickly. But regardless, the most glorious part of this section is obviously the Legendary Igniter to the bottom left over here. That is one hell of a way to end off this here vlogging episode. I cannot, in good conscience, end off this video without first thanking all of my incredible channel members whose continued support help make these videos possible. Without them, these videos would be near impossible to make, so from the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate every last one of them. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, there are plenty of options on screen now to explore, and please consider subscribing to keep up to date with all my content. On that note, this video is coming to an end, so thank you so much as always for watching. Until the next video arises, peace!